of course, one of the main problems, if you like, of having limitless wealth is that what on earth do you do with it? You know, you might go and buy yourself a huge stately home or something with 500 million miles of land around it. You can only enjoy 2 square foot at a time because that's where you are. You might go and buy a yacht. 500,000 fucking yacht. You buy yourself 50 holidays. These people don't want to go on holiday. These people own, 20 cars and stuff. You can only drive one. They don't need all that. And, for all their possessions, their houses and cars and all the rest of it that they own, it only scratches the surface of making a hole in the amount of money they actually own. Like let's say they spend a million quid a week. What are you going to spend £1 million a week on? Once you've spent £1 million, good God, haven't you finished? These people have billions. Some people have trillions. More money than they could ever spend in 20,000 fucking lifetimes. What do they want all that for? They're only going to live one life. So, what do they do with the money? Well, money's really powerful. They buy people to kill people. They buy mercenaries to go and invade countries. They do. They've got the money. What else are they going to do with it? They buy politicians. The politicians, they're for sale. They are. It's sad but true. And what else are they going to buy? Oh, TV stations. Let's buy TV stations. Let's buy movie companies. We'll give them movies and whatnot. That should keep them quiet while they're watching that telly and while they're watching those movies. They're not thinking about me with all my millions. They don't care about me. All they care about is that football. Let's see who can kick that football there, kick it into a net. 10 men stopping him. Ridiculous. So we get distracted away from what is the truth. We take it out of us. What do you do with all that money? How much money is too much money? What's the point of having money if we don't do anything good with it? These people. If an ordinary chap who's got a 9 to 5, 40-hour week job, his best chance of having enjoyment as far as the TV's concerned and whatnot is he goes out to the pub, goes and gets some beer, gets drunk, might take some drugs. Might buy himself a car, might buy himself a house, get himself completely up to bollocks in debt. But the enjoyments, essential, really. He needs them to live his life. Every day's a struggle. His boss is a twat. And he's forced to go to work because of his monetary situation. So he's spending all his money, probably every week, and can save very little. Not really saving for a pension, can't afford that. It's too far in the future, and the demands on his cash are immediate and hefty. And so that's what he does with his money and his time, just surviving. Whereas these people who have infinite amounts of money, and there are lots of them, they tell us how we're meant to carry on. They think, while ever we're spending in their shops and carrying rifles into war for them, shooting the guns and all those things, then that's all right. They're very happy about that. They don't need to be worrying about us at all. They're so evil, these people, that, back in 2001, 11th of September, they knocked those two towers down, the World Trade Center towers, and everybody thinks, that was Osama bin Laden. It's crazy to think that. He was living in a cave, and he'd got a telephone and a laptop, and what can he do? It's impossible that he could dictate, that how that all happened. Impossible. The evidence that says there were other players in there. It weren't anything to do with him anyhow. The evidence is irrefutable, impossible to deny. And yet, no one's gone to prison yet. 3,000 Americans died on that day. If you ask most people about 9/11, they think the two towers came down and that were it. That's wrong. And it's never told about on TV. They don't speak about it. You'll never see it on the news. But in the afternoon on that same day, the World Trade Center complex, Building 7, fell out of the sky in exactly the same fashion that the other two buildings had fallen down earlier on in the day. It had never been hit by an aeroplane. And NIST, the organisation who supposedly did an analysis, an investigation into 9/11, said that Building 7 fell out of the sky due to normal office fires. The damn thing fell out of the sky. It hit all in one bunch. It wasn't a bit fall down here and a bit fall down there later on. It all came down at once at free fall speed, hitting the floor, smashed to pieces. The other crazy thing about 9/11 is that if you look at the ground zero which is where the main two towers, came down. Directly after the event, there's lots of footage of what was there, and basically it was clear, it looked like, it was a bit dusty and what have you, and there were a little bit of shards of steel hanging up and a little bit of concrete. But the amazing thing is that the rubble and the steel and all the mess that ought to have been there wasn't there. It had all gone. It was flat. There ought to have been a pile of rubbish 100 metres tall. There ought to have been 250,000 tonnes of concrete and steel. Makes a hell of a pile of debris, and that just didn't happen. That was only one building. The other building weighed 250,000 tonnes as well. World Trade Center 7 was a 47-storey huge building, and same thing, nothing left of it, all gone. Lots of the other buildings at World Trade Center were also damaged, supposedly by falling debris from the other towers, but that's debatable too. In the lobby of one of the trade centres, one of the two main towers, there's a vault with gold bullion inside. That was never recovered. Lots of people think that was stolen. So basically what you're looking at there is the World Trade Center buildings, and their collapse was partially a heist, a gold heist, a robbery. Certainly, if you go and if you look into the records about Larry Silverstein, you'll be stunned to find out that he only owned the buildings, the World Trade Center towers. He only had them for about 4 or 5 months, and he managed to buy them off the New York Port Authority, who were delighted to find him because they were thinking that they were looking at a huge bill to clean out the asbestos that was meant to be in the buildings. A very costly affair. So they let it go for a song, to be honest, to Larry Silverstein, a Jewish businessman. So what happened then? Well, he got control of the buildings and then went and bought some insurance, doubled the insurance, and made sure that it was included for terrorist attack, insured against terrorist attack. And so when the buildings came down, he had a huge payday, billions. I think it was about 4 or 5 billion he got for the towers that the money that he supposedly lost. He'd only had it 6 months. Have you ever seen what an aeroplane's made of? It's thin aluminum. An aluminium tin can. They don't weigh anything. That's why they put them in the air. That's why they make them out of that. They don't make them out of steel. If it was a steel aeroplane, aeroplane, you could imagine that it'd make hell of a mess. And it might very well slice through a girder, but a tin can, you throw a tin can at a steel girder, mate, it just bends, cuts, rips, does anything other than make a hole or anything like that. So we're left to conclude that the Bushes and others colluded to bring those towers down and blame it on somebody else. The money they made that day is unbelievable. You'll hear of something called the military-industrial complex. Basically, it's the people who make all the arms and munitions the army use, and they are, amongst the wealthiest people in the world. But what use is having a big factory that can make tanks and missiles and all the rest of it if the army won't buy them and use them? So part of the reasoning for 9/11 was that they could go to war, which they promptly did very shortly after they started in Afghanistan. We're still there now, spending money, and obviously they pressed on into Iraq. All those millions, honestly, millions of people they killed there, ordinary people, displaced them, wrecked the place, smashed it to pieces. And what are we supposed to do then? What are we supposed to do? Right, I'm going to stop this video now. It's 17 minutes long. I'm going to add it on to something else.